Hello, this is Dave Gilberline, and this is March 5th, and this is the training for the U of M Shotokan Karate Club. You are welcome to train along. Line up without shoes. So this is the thing, you know, there's a whole bunch of traditions that I told you about, but I didn't really go through very many because you're just one beginner. When we have a bunch of them, then you have to keep explaining it and telling everybody everything. But one is when you go from one place to another, you hustle. Because it's like if I say, hey, can everybody move over there? They go, okay. And you say, hey, everybody go over there. It's like, oh, these guys want to train, they're excited. So the enthusiasm is good. Good for you, good for everybody. Remember what to say? Yes. Loud. Are you here for just one class? You guys are here for two? Okay. Pick up one foot, go around your ankle and toes, switch away, other foot, other way, feet together around the knees, other way, apart, round with your hips, switch. Legs, pump your arms around. Switch away. Cross. Twist, look behind you. Take nice deep breaths. Pick up your heels. Just a little bit while we warm up. Feet apart, left arm up, right arm to your side. Snap your hip and punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And stop. Wrong with the arms. Feel a little warm here. Well, what is the deal? I don't know if that'll actually do anything.
I think there's some of the things that you may actually deactivated to release things from the room.
Great. I didn't do that. Squatting. Put your hands on the floor. Straighten your legs. Squat. Straighten. Squat. Straighten. Squat. Straighten and squat. Even out. Stretching down forward. Back. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. Reach over one shoulder. Switch. Side. Switch. Let's everybody back up a little bit. We're going to continue with warm-up stuff. A little bit. Everybody okay? Going now. Walk your hands up and arch. Look up to the ceiling. Walk your feet in till they're up by your hands. Walk your hands up. Feet in. Hands up. Feet in. Hands out. Feet in. Hands out. And stop. Walk your hands back. Walk your feet out. Hands in. Feet out. Hands in. Feet out. Feet out. Let's see. Alright, we'll do two different things this way. The first one is just basically a bear crawl. You can put your hands on the floor and walk. That's great. Now you have to go backwards. It's way harder. Back. Doing okay, Genoa? Okay. Now you're just going to hop your feet up to your hands. So you go. You don't have to watch. Bend your knees. Let's keep it out. And as long as you go backwards. No, I don't know if you've ever done this backwards. It's hot. Backwards. See what I said? Stop. Deep lunging, step forward. Step forward. Arms up. Arms up. Arms out. Turn to the outside. Step forward. Turn to the outside. Stand up for a second, shake your legs. This is almost the same thing. You're going to do a front kick and hold your recoil this way. Then you're just going to step down. Then you're going to front kick. And then step down. So you're getting this stretch. Kick, drop, kick, drop. Go ahead. Kick. Drop. Kick. Drop. Kick. Drop. Kick. Drop. Kick. Drop. Kick. Drop. That's it. Move back this way a little bit. Start like this. Slide over to your left. Pull your input in. Stick it out. Forward. Put it in. Out. Pull it in. Stick it out. All right, work your way back the other way. If you wait, you put it in, put it out. Not as bad. Drop down to one side. Rotate all the way over.
Excuse me, sir. Do you need audio now in here?
We do not.
Okay, awesome.
Can you turn the temperature down a couple degrees?
I don't think I have that power. Sorry.
Back. And over. Back. Over. And back. Switch. All the way over. Step to the other side. Back. Over. So mostly you're just feeling the microphone. That's all it was. Back. Over. And back. Feet in squatting. Make your feet flat. Push your knees out so they go the same way as your ankles. Rise up on the balls of your feet this way so your ankles are straight. Drop back down. Straighten your legs. Roll up. Run through. Switch. Side, side. Shake out the legs. Turn. Straight uniform. We will very quickly go through the basics that you need to know, and then we'll alternate some kata. So we'll do one of yours, we'll do one of hers, we'll do one of yours. Is that okay, everybody? Great. Do you guys want to be that far apart? Is that why you're that way? Otherwise, can you all slide down just a little bit, and can you go way over there? Yep, that way. So I want her to have people on both sides that she can see. And you can step forward, you can step forward. Now you're a little further apart still. And here we go. Up, feet apart. Left arm, left leg forward, get him around. Right. Step forward, oizuki. You're going to step and punch for your own solar plexus height with your hips straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stepping backwards, you're just going to rising walk by twisting your hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moving forward, outside walk. Shotokan, your arm coils up high and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moving backwards, inside walk this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang up for a second. I rest. So do you remember that we did all those? Your hip is straight on punches, turned on all the blocks. Now we're going to move forward and backwards in a knife hand block back stance. So instead of letting your weight go forward, you stay here and put your hand and foot out in front. Left leg forward, knife hand block, back stance. Right? Stepping forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moving backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fighting position. So instead of a front stance, you're going to be a little shorter, and instead of your hips being straight, they're going to be sideways, and then you pick your arms up in front of them. This is pretending like from your center, it goes to your elbow, your fist, to their face in a straight line. This one goes from your center to your fist to their center. So your arms are always doing something. They're not back here, they're not down here. They're used for protection. Front snap kick moving forward. I think this is the only kick you learn. So after this, we'll go back to Kata. There's, in your test, there's these basics in your first test, plus a roundhouse kick, and the side thrust kick, and usually there's partner work, and then Heian Shodan. All right, don't put your hands in your hips. Bad attitude. I know, there's so many things we do. So back in the olden days, when these old masters used to come from Japan to teach here, they would occasionally beat somebody up or slap them around a little bit, and we thought, God, that guy's mean. Turns out they were insulted. Because where they come from, if you're paying attention, you can stand like this, or like this, but not like this. This is like, I could care less what you have to say. And people would just stand that way, and this guy would get mad, not knowing they didn't mean that, and he wasn't maybe even aware of it. He just thought, what a bunch of jerks these guys are. Now, it is not that strict anymore. I see people in the videos in Japan standing and listening like this, so we've destroyed their culture. And, but still, it's just good to be aware of etiquette. So, how you stand, how you move projects something. And this is something that crosses into self-defense and into real life. There are many times in life, giving a talk in front of a group, going in for a job interview, whatever, where you do not feel confident. You feel like, oh God, I hope this, oh. And they can see that in the way you stand. And you might still feel that way, but if you straighten up and take a breath, you look confident. It's like, hi, nice to meet you. You know, you look like you know what you're doing. And that's like 90% of it. And then the more it gets, the old phrase is fake it till you make it, that's a real thing in karate. Your mental and physical positions, balances reflect each other. So if you're very afraid, very timid, it shows up in the way you move. You can fake that by being straight and tall, and pretty soon your mind gets calmer, more assertive, more comfortable. So they work against each other. But anyway, don't stand with your hands in your hips. There's a whole bunch more rules. Sensei Nishiyama, if I'm listening to you or watching you, and I lean against the wall, he would stop the whole class and yell at the person, blah, 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 blah. Because this is not a self-defense position. This is just a bad habit. Like, oh, sorry. So he wanted you to stand up and look like you were listening, but also pay attention to what's going on and leave some room in case, oh my God, you had to move. If you're here, you're kind of screwed. So there were tons of little things that were etiquette, that were by tradition, but also had a good common sense self-defense reason. So anyway, left leg forward, fighting position. You're going to do a front snap kick. You're going to coil, pick the knee up, recoil, and then step it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think you're being up much higher. Turn the other way. We, of course, will work on this all more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it up. Look straight ahead. Alright. So that's another Zanshin thing, is being alert, being ready, and all the little habits matter. And I know I've mentioned this before, but even just turning and standing up, if they say, okay, high up, and you go, oh God, I'm so tired, this all. That's huge kill, huge weakness opening. So just make it a habit to say, hey up, you know. And if you were attacked, you'd still be ready. And I've actually had that happen, where somebody was upset when we were training and I didn't know that. And they tried to kick me at a time when I should have been quitting, and I didn't. I was still ready, and I was just fine. So I should have been more aware of them that I was training, and I wasn't thinking about them. Kind of a mistake. Huge mistake on their part. They lost their temper and tried to keep me. But it wasn't just me. This person had problems with lots of people. So I feel like this comes and goes every day. It's not a live thing, it's a piece of rubber. Heian Shodan. You step back a little bit. Let's see. Change your mind. You come back where you were. You step forward. You step back. You're fine. And every way she turns, there'll be somebody there. Remember how it's in the shape of the capital letter I? Okay, here we go. Out. Heian Shodan. Boy. Start moving to your left. You do the downward block and then a 7 punch. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1. 3 rising blocks. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Nice. Okay, you got it? Okay, here we go. Up, Heian Shodan. Away. Which is ready. 1. Good. A little more turn in your hips, sideways. Yep. Pull your hand back more. 2. Straight hips. Pull your hand back more. 1. Move. Yep. Sideways. 2. A little higher. Up here or on the nose. 3. Shoulders down. 1. 1, 2, 3. Shoulders down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1. Nice and block back then. 2, 1, 2. Higher. Higher. So your palms your feet together. Your kata is way better than it should be for somebody who just took, a few classes. Your basics still need work because they're maybe new. I don't know. But you're doing great. I suspect that you'll just start working on the next kata relatively soon. So even though you still have to look around a little bit to figure out what to do next, you do it really well. You move the right way, good position. So good job. Lots of people still look around. Don't they? What kata would you like to do? Kanku Shodan. Can you come over there? And you can go back to there. You can move in a little bit. You can take 1 step forward. All right. So Kanku Shodan is pretty basic, but it's not very familiar unless you've been doing Kanku. Then it's tremendously familiar. But there's no freaky stances or anything. It's all kind of basic stuff. Kanku Shodan. Out. Away. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to step forward and do this. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. And this one, if you come through the middle, you grab your own wrist and you pull in here. 1. pull into your center and do a front kick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is kind of different, but kind of cool. 7. That's kind of off to the side. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Get into this. 1, and then both hands. 2. 1, 2. Pretend something coming right for your head. You're going to catch it with this palm and come out. 1, 2. Simply jump. 1. Side snap elbow strike like Heian Yondan or Kata. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Keep your hand land on your right foot. 1. Then you switch your feet into a downward block. 2. I know. 1. Inside block, step and punch. 1, 2. 1, 2. There. There. Okay. Now speed. Ready? This is called Kata. So the augmented block thing this way could be a block, but it seems a little silly. Somebody's punching and I have to block with both hands, and I leave him there, and I block this guy, and I leave him there, and I block this guy. What are they doing? Well, and as you may know, the augmented block is so much more useful going forward. Blocking and striking, or blocking and hitting, forward's better for almost everything. And yet, this is obviously big shifting, big moving. And I spent several years trying to figure out something I was happy with. You could make stuff up that was just not good. But then I had to teach a seminar on it, so that like put a deadline on it. And I came up with it being a throw. Somebody comes up to grab you, you hook one elbow, this goes across their face and across their neck, and you spin, and the person falls on the ground. And I thought that it would work because I could do it, but sometimes when I teach stuff, it doesn't quite go that way because I forgot a step or something. But I had the whole group grab like this. I told them what to do first. I showed them, and then I said, grab like this. Now pull or push and pull and shift, and the whole room went whoop, and all the partners went boom. So it was hey, that one works. That was awesome. We had maths, and it is a theme that continues for this 1, 2, and again that was harder to get because they usually tell you punch at somebody and you miss or they blocked it. Then they punch at you and you block them. Then you do it again because you have no imagination or brain, and then you block them. And then you must be successful because you leave who's over there and go the other way. So what I came up with for that was deeply penetrating somebody's stance. So maybe they're standing like this, and I clear this front hand, and I come way across their head by their shoulder, and then my foot's on the outside, and that's a throw. It dumps them on the ground. So this part bends them backwards. Whoa! And this part dumps them. So to me, that seems to be a theme I can reproduce in several parts of the kata and say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Here we go again. First three moves. Feet apart. Shift that way. Block that way. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. Play up again. Try to make sure that your arms and sensor and legs are connected. So put the weight in your back leg. Ready? Ready? 1. Back. Wrap this one in a little. Ooh, maybe that's better. 2. Down. Yes. 3. Yep. So can you feel how the pressure kind of winds in your back foot? It's a way cool feeling. So it's just so obvious here. Down, and then you get to go, wow, and go forward. But if you just stand on the ground, it's not as dynamic, and it doesn't feel directional. So in some cases, shift smaller. But this and this and this match. And this and this and this match. This match, boom. Match, boom. It looks like a light, quick kata, but it's heavy. I like it. Ready again? Out. Spark. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Down. Yep. 1, 2. Pull down. 1. 1. Oh, did I do anything? Is this one of these? Not yet. Nope, you're right. I'm right. We're all right. 1. One, 2. Five. Legs. 1. That's right. 2, 3. 1. Another one that feels cool if you connect it to your feet. There you go. 1. Even though you're up there, you have to see you. That's better. 1. 1, 2. Down. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1. And then both hands. 2. 1. 2. Better. 1. Good. So that's the idea. Please never say this. One. I think I can do it higher. Like underarm height. If I had grabbed this from somebody, I'm going to come over their head, boom, and hit them. So it's not impossible. You can hold this like your knee like this, like it's a bow. Yeah. And I caught it. So I'm not back here where he hits me. Someplace in there, I move forward to put him a little bit off balance. pose, look at his arms and head, until he's off balance. The other thing they do, arms barking like this, is they try to shove it in his groin. But if it's a stick, yeah, you might get something, but I feel like it's a little awkward to do. Where the flippy thing works, even if he lets go, not coming over his head. Boom! 1, 2. One of the two things actually. Now I don't think, although this is an excellent positioning thing, I don't think it's the greatest application. I think it's more likely to get somebody punching, and I blocked it, slapped it, threw him over. So, both are very hard, and I went to the demonstration where my partner was supposed to swing a ball at my feet so I could jump over it and kick him with a side thrust. Way cool, right? And they were so excited that they went, whoa! And that sucker was too high, not here, and too soon. And it didn't break my foot, but I still couldn't walk for 6 weeks. I had crutches and a bone bruise. So, in my brain, that's what happens by accident. What happens on purpose when you start smacking somebody with the ball? It's it's like, oh, I blocked it. No, that's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. However, there was a brown belt woman I know who was learning empty. And that's what they told her that was for. And she was in a bar. May have picked a fight with somebody. I don't know. But let's just say that happened. And they decided to hit her with a pool cue. And they went, whoa, and she said, I went, boom, and then I pulled it out of her hand and it ran away. But she said, I didn't think about it. I just went like that, caught it. And so I would have to say that that works. It's one of those things where you shouldn't make it your primary defense. If you could move away or talk them out of it or move way in, all better solutions. But sometimes you don't have those options. I doubt she said, hey, I'm going to hit you with this pool cue. I think she just swung it in the middle of them yelling at each other, and so I caught it. So, yay, I guess. Although I did have to talk to her about starting fights in bars. I don't have to have that talk very often, even less often with women. But it happens. So don't get multi in bars. Everybody understand? Okay? So anyway, here you are. 1, 2, empty. 1. Side snap, elbow strike. Other foot, Renee. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. Grab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Heel. 1, 2, 1, 2. Inside block, step and punch. 1, 2. So, at the beginning of the kata, where we started to, I want to say the energy flows. It goes from here to here, down, down, down. That's a really cool thing. And you were getting that, but you need that, let's say here, as you go on top of your legs, and you need to think down, 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 down. It flows through the middle of your thigh, through your bone, through your center. It'll give you better balance. And it's even there after this. You don't just land, you compress, whoa, and then you uncompress, and it'll come up different. So you did it fine if you're relatively light. but it can just always be better. So something they used to say a lot that didn't make sense to me is more mass. You want to hit with more mass. And I'm like, well, I feel like I'm doing my part now. But if you weigh 100 pounds, give or take a little, it seems like such a meaningless thing to say. But it goes back to the old, you're going to hit with your whole body action. And it is true. And it's true in so many ways that I can't even tell you. Part of your arm, all your arm. Part of your body, all your body. Different, little tiny differences. So, it's that kind of stuff that I'll keep trying to make you do. Almost always, like I said before, your forearm and spine have to be a little more stable, a little more expansion, contraction. Kata. So I used to train with a guy who also did Tai Chi. And our ongoing argument 40 years ago was, are Tai Chi and karate the same thing or completely different? Because karate comes at it from this big muscular, Tai Chi is so soft and no tension. And so at that point, he'd been doing Tai Chi for like 20 years, he'd been doing karate for like 30, and I asked him, what do you think? And he said that in his mind, it wasn't a choice of this or that, it was different interpretations. So what he liked about Tai Chi was he felt like you're creating this energy, and it flows, and then it flows, and then it flows, and then it flows. And in karate, it's a little bit more like you started and you stop. You started, you stop. But I think he was wrong. I think they're closer than you think. So when you start doing kata, and you go slowly, obviously, it squeezes, squeezes, squeezes. It should always be the same. And if you go faster, it's just like that, faster. So after many years of thinking about it, I think they're the same thing. They just get there from two different places. So many years of going 1, 2, 1. I mean, it's very hard. It's very, it takes a lot of patience for young people, especially. Where karate is more movement, more excitement. Let's do something different. And they asked a Tai Chi master once, named Dr. Pai Wang, what he thought about Americans doing Tai Chi. And he said, well, when he learned, they would do one posture over and over again, for months and years, over and over again. And then you learn the next one, and then you learn the next one. And over 20 or 40 years' time, you would learn the whole thing. Americans want to learn the whole thing now, and then they just keep practicing it until they get better at it. And he said both ways are okay. I expected him to slam the American version. But it turns out karate used it that way too. When Akoshi did the Teki Kata for 10 years before he did anything else. 10 years! And more than him, other masters also said, most karate people only know 2 or 3 kata, maybe 5, an experienced instructor. Now we know 20, 30. So, anyway, you try to see if you get the feeling that the energy transfers from one place to another place, all the time in every kata you do. So on your slow ones, it's kind of cool because you can get to a position and feel it. Like, oh, I get that. Oh, I get that. And then let it flow into the next one. And then let it flow again. And every time you bobble or every time you stop, that's a mistake. A mistake of energy flow. One more time. Kanku show. Kata. Boy. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1. 1. 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 4. More pressure in that back leg. 1, 2. So whenever you do this, I feel like you are off center this way. And I want this and this to come through the middle of you. Even if your arm position was over here, your center would still be in charge. I wouldn't just quit and do this one side. So I want you to do more center in both legs. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. That's 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. That's on my part. 1, 2. So even there, push from this leg to your center to this leg, and make it point your arm. Push your leg, push, push, yes! So it's not a big difference in position, but it's a difference in what you do on the inside. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. Down into your right leg. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. This doesn't get back up very far. Push out your legs, out your body, out your center. Maybe a tiny bit longer in your arm, but don't stiffen it. Just like you want to project. Better? It was the same way in the other one too. Hip. High rest. Let's take our 5-minute break, and then we'll start more on your basics and on your two patterns. Okay? Question? Okay. 5-minute break. Let's go. Thank you. Get water if you need it.
Yeah, I can only attend that first session.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I will see you on Monday then.
Yep. Thanks for coming. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yep, I see you. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start on the basics for your test. And as we come up to things that you don't know what to do, we'll break them down, and that'll be good for you and for you. And then we'll go back to Heian Shodan, Heian Yondan, and Heian Godan over and over and over again until they're awesome. So, well, good thing we're going to work on it then. Feet apart, left arm forward, and right. And step forward and triple punch. So on this, we're going to go 4 counts. We're going to go this far, not move. 1, elbows are in, head is up, body straight. Use your legs to shock, punching head. 2, and then double punch 5. 3, moving forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Move backwards. We're going to do rising walk counter punches. Just step backwards first. This hand can rise a little bit. We'll do rising walk. 1. Push your hip. Okay, do it wrong. Okay? So then you're going to step back, right as you want. One, yep. You're drawing your hand more to your side. And then you're going to twist your hip and punch. Two. Now as you move backwards, you have to switch your hands. So you're going to go from here to here and switch your hands. You're going to go like, like you're blocking with this back hand. One, and you twist and block. Two, three. Switch your hands as you step. One, two, three. One, two. Pretty darn good. Three. Two steps. Down your feet. One, two, three. Shoulders down, shoulders down. One. Go ahead, back. More. Two. Yep, stay right there. Boom. Three. Shoulders down. Moving forward. We have to do an outside block, elbow straight, back fist straight. Great. You're going to step forward 3/4 of the way and coil your arm up like this. One. Twist your hip and block. Two. From here, your front arm is going to hit against the elbow. You go in and out of the footwork and hit. Two. I guess that's three. Now you do a back fist straight. You're going to hit this back part of your hand, knuckles, and it's going to come up over the top in kind of a 45-degree arc, and then back. With the four. Move forward this way. One, two, in and out with your footwork, elbow straight. Three, your leg, four. Like taking lines. One, pull your arm. Two, three, in and out. Side, shoulder down. This part is relax your shoulder. Pull your arm back on, so you're going to elbow again. So you go back and relax and do it slow. Two. Your lat has to pull, squeeze your right finger. Back. One, two. Up. So I'm going to lift you. You're going to pull your arm down. Hard. Put your shoulder down to the side. So pull down first. There you go, that's good. And then out slow, fall towards me, like with your hip flex. Yeah, out, your shoulders get up again. Yep. Go back this. Three. One. Two. Don't pull the block, just halfway. Three. Across it, shoulder down. Four. Legs. Bend. One. Two. Block. Excellent. In and out with your footwork, elbow straight. Three. Shoulder down. Turn your fist this way. Yep. Then your back of your hand. Three. Good job. Shoulder down. Do one more forward. One, two, three. Shoulder down, John Noel. Four, back fist. Shoulder down again. Yep. Quiet for just a second. I know here's a thing. Can you, yep, sorry, be over here. do an elbow stretch with your right arm down. So you look in the mirror there. People in the video and you, Renee, can you come back over there? Yep. Okay, elbow stretch. Over that a little bit, you're just watching her. Okay, so watch. That's too far back. And appreciate that. Here. If I apply pressure here, see where it jerks across her shoulders? And we want to stop that. And the problem is her shoulders up, and also just a little bit, maybe this is too far out. When you put this in a line, it's a bad position for a sideways elbow stretch. It's a good position for backwards elbow stretch. That's fantastic, yeah. But for this one, not good. For this one, when you wind up, twist your arm and rest your elbow down, and you're going to extend, but only twist at the end, and almost feel like this elbow goes in a straight line towards me. Yep, almost. Really, also, really you kind of be in between. But if you keep remembering this straight line, it'll help you be a little better. Shoulder down. So you want your stomach strong, and your legs strong, and you want the weight. Hey, hold on, your feet. You want it to go to your body? Better. Oh, weaker. Like that. Your body's got to back it up. Just a hair out of position to do this. Better. Ooh, that's super strong. See that? Oh, shoulders going. So you want to pull down and wedge yourself down.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pulling down here, but.
Okay, pull me down. Then push against me and pull down. Out, you let go of the pull down. Down. Now your shoulders are. There you go. So this pulls down, this pulls down, this pulls down. Technically, this pulls down. The whole under part of your arm feels like it's pulling down. As it pushes up your shoulder, as it fits against me, it's underneath. So up is bad for this, and too much sideways is bad. So again, if you go back to too much sideways and your shoulder up a little bit, there's just nothing there. So you can get to a better place. Better. And then you need to, I don't know, believe. Because as soon as you try to be stronger, you do that little lift thing. This is true of many, many karate techniques, though. I call it anti-intuitive. So people want to be stronger, and they reach more. And that's not stronger. You have to figure out how your body can project more. Super obvious in a rising ball. There's a balance. People go, to be strong, and it's weak. You have to pull down. If you pull down too much, then it's not strong up anymore because you're overpowering the up part. So there's a weird balance of where strong is. But can you put your hand out and punch like from my head once? If I can figure out how to shock, this is too much down. This is too much out. And this is in between. Up. I don't have to try very hard. It's got to be in the right spot. Nope. And it matters for punching. It's actually less important for elbows because elbows are very hard. But again, you want to hit harder, as hard as you can. So I thought of this after I explained last time about total body action a few minutes ago. Sensei Nishiyama used to talk about this. If you have a person, so his story is about making the most you can out of what you have. So if you are a 300-pound guy, you can punch really crappy and do a lot of damage. If you are a 100-pound person, you do not have the mass or the luxury of punching wrong, punching poorly. So he said it's like if you lay somebody on the ground, you take 10 pounds of pillows, feathers, and drop them on their head, they'll be fine. If you take a 10-pound ball, lead cannonball, drop it on their head, it'll crush their head. When you hit, you want to do, put yourself together, be as solid as you can when you hit something. And so many of these drills were good because they gave you an image of what he wanted you to do. But people, They copied it too much and it became super stiff. That's not it. You're missing the directional part, the soft part. But I totally get when he's traveling around teaching people who can't do anything, he's got to give them some ideas to do something. So you keep pushing down, making yourself more solid when you hit things, not less down. And there are times when the down will betray you, when the down doesn't help. But most of the time for now, it will. So even if you put out your counter punch again, you try to just be strong. When I push on you, that's up. So push, relax your shoulder, wait, don't shrug. Do your legs, sink on the floor, put your right arm back, sink. Better. You're arching a little bit. Getting straighter and stronger. Down. Ooh, that's better. For not much work, you have a lot more pressure. I don't know your hand up. So I did do a bunch of reading, and there was a thing recently that when COVID first started, everybody was freaked out because nobody knew how it started, how it was transferred, what was, dangerous. But now, as we suspected, it's mostly breathing in somebody else's air. You bring in their moist air. The chances of you catching it are huge if they have it. The touching surfaces, though, very, very small. So the distance thing is still about not breathing other people's air. But I'm still, you should be careful. But the guy basically said, as long as you wash your hands, it shouldn't be an issue because they can't find incidences of people catching it off things. Okay? Your attention was caught by something?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's right. So I just found that interesting. We were terrified for a long time, and we don't have to be as careful. It's totally still possible to catch it off. If somebody gives you a salt shaker and you use a salt shaker, it's totally possible. But not as likely, unless they sneezed in their hand, grabbed the salt shaker, gave it to you, you touched it, you used it, you wiped your face or mouth with it. Then, yeah. Generally, people don't catch it from food packages or prepared food, or there's a big list of things they used to be afraid of now.
I'll be honest, I think it's like, even though they say that's not the case, it's kind of like I'm not learned that I should be careful.
I know.
Even though it's not.
I agree. And the incidence of the flu this year has been almost zero. Because the same distancing, washing your hands, that keeps you from catching the flu. So, turns out Asian countries, China, Korea, Japan, have been wearing masks. Every time they start to get a sniffle, they wear a mask. They don't make other people sick. Americans used to think that was silly. Turns out it's not silly. It's a good idea. So this may become part of our culture. Every time you start to come down with a cold, you might end up wearing a mask. Yep. It is kind of handy that it's not socially acceptable too. You can. Oh, sorry. Oh, mask. That's the way it's got to be. Don't you want to take your mask off on too? No, I'm good. All right, we're doing something now. We are doing inside lock counter punches. Cool. Put your, I don't care, right leg in front, and we just finished this back this way. Now we're going to step backwards, inside block this way. 1. Turn your back leg and your back knee in. 2. Now this hand comes underneath. 1. Other hand. Yep, I'll take that. You did the other. 2. 1. Back leg, back knee pointed forward. A little bit more width. Yep. 2. 1. Shoulders down, relax. Use your stomach now. 2, 1. So the hand that's out goes underneath. This one, if it goes anywhere, goes out. That's close. You just started with the wrong hand forward. So can you go back to here? And here. This hand, go underneath and then out. 1. Yep. 2. Yeah. Moving forward. Knife hand blocks look experience, right? We're going to do just a few knife hand blocks first, forwards and backwards. So the hand that's out right now is going to block. 1. Now this hand comes up and blocks. 2, 3, 4. Back knee sideways and back foot sideways. Front foot straight. 5. Drop your front hip a little bit. Straighten your front foot out a little bit. Moving backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are better. Can you make more pressure into your back leg? 5. Moving forward, knife hand block. 1. Now your front leg is going to front snap kick, and then you spear in straight. 2. Kick, stab. Kind of like you're stabbing with your fingers. 1. Knife hand block. 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, good. 1, 2, we're going to move backwards. So most people, and you used to have this problem, you lurch into a position and then bounce back. And that is so much better. You've got good direction, good angle, boom! It can even be just a little more. Down into this leg, down into the floor. But it's so much better. It looks controlled, balanced. So keep that up. Moving backwards. In a knife hand block with the arm that's up. That was with a knife hand block, that was with a fist. I know, this is just weird stuff, isn't it? 1, 2. Yep. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yep. Iris. So every once in a while, you would do this instead of this, or you do this instead of this. In different karate styles, that's totally the way it is. And in fact, I would make the argument, I'm not going to touch it, that this is a more useful technique than this in most cases. This will get up over their shoulder into their neck. You can nail them with it. It's a good thing to do. Eyes, fantastic for coming up into the eyes. This, a little trickier. But the form right now is this way. And quite often you'll end up doing it this way in a different kata. But, what?
Why are we doing it?
Because that's what they teach us to do. So I skipped that part of the thing. It used to be that instead of 3 major stances, there was 20. You do different stances for every time according to what you do. So I have a progression I show all the time for Heian Shodan, where when Funakoshi did it, let's say I'm by this mark. I'm right behind it. You can see the mark? When Funakoshi did this kata, he stepped in line this way and was almost standing there. And then he stepped not in line here, but very shallow. And then he did that here, and here, and here. Then he did this. Whoa. And then he did this. 1, 2, 3. He called them all front stances, but they were all different. When a guy named Oshima translated Funikoshi's book, the Karate no Kyohan, which is called the Master Text, that Funikoshi wrote in 1936, but Oshima translated it in 1961. He said, I teach everything exactly the way Funikoshi did, except he put pictures of himself in there instead of Funikoshi. And wouldn't you know, the stances had changed. So when he did this kata, he stepped almost in line but not quite, and then almost in line but not quite. They were all the same everywhere he went, and this one went in and out, because that was a basic idea. The way the JKA does it, the Japanese Karate Association, which is where we came from, there's a full hips distance between your feet, and by the time you do this one, you are 2 stances behind that mark. And always in and out, of course. So when they standardized all the positions, it made it a little easier to learn. So one of the rules, because a lot of the people teaching in the school systems weren't really karate people, they were like Phi-Ed teachers. They brought them all together and said, okay, starting today, all the stances are the same length, same width, same height. If you're not same length, same width, it's wrong. So they just made them all the same to make it easier to teach. And a lot of the oddball positions, here or here or here or here or here, all became an FM block, or a spirit. Same position, same position. So they just made it that way basically for kids or for the general public, because they kind of lost the self-defense part. They were just teaching for exercise. So in Okinawa, when karate was practiced in secret, I did a lot of research on this. I wrote a paper. Karate was designed for self-defense, your own self-physical development, and character development, spiritual awareness. So if it wasn't good for self-defense, they didn't do it, especially at first. It's a waste of time, right? Why would you teach somebody something that doesn't work? And when it became more of a public art, they wanted to take away all the things that would hurt people. They took out the eye stabs, the throat stabs, the elbow breaks, the stomping on your knee, groin strikes. And for the general public, it became all head and body. 2 targets, head, body. Because you could hit somebody there and then get back up, it'd be okay. And the emphasis, once it became public, a guy named Tosu designed the public system, convinced the Japanese school system to embrace it, the Okinawan system first and then the Japanese, because they were going to make better soldiers. And so then the emphasis became athleticism, all the stances were deep and driving, discipline, each, knee, so on. They didn't used to do that. They used to just, well, okay, do this, and they would do it without the each knee santar. And then spirit. You needed to tell them, charge! Ah! Boom, and they go. Because that's what you care about for soldiers. Physical fitness, discipline, obedience, spirit. I'm trying to put the self-defense stuff back in there, so that's why I know all this old stuff that used to be in there that now it's not. And I try to find a balance, because we did pick up some better body dynamics. It is healthy for you if you do it right. But there's a lot of stuff, a lot of the application stuff that's lost. And I truly believe the whole sparring concept didn't exist. It wasn't a thing. You'd work with a partner, but it was among the, let's say they're trying to hurt you, they're trying to grab you, they're tackling you, they have you headlock, they do something to you, and you have to defend yourself. Not, Shodan! That's more like kendo. Bah! They would just practice that over and over again until they got it right. So it was created for kids and the public to do. But anyway, we do it this way because they picked it that way. And then to use it, I would say more like you're going to bend your hand a little bit, you're like hitting with your palm along the side of the face. Boom. If you're gonna spear, you don't hit the throat here. You don't hit here, it's right in between. Your fingers go right there. Yep, if you go straight back, there's pain there. And it can go in and down or in and up, depending on what it is. You can hit with your thumb. So there are things to do with it. I'm just saying more things start to happen when you can do this also, or when you have the option. But in our style, we don't. In some styles, they do. Anyway, kicks, I believe. Did I babble too much? There's a lot to talk about. Front leg, back leg, front kicks. So we'll try that. Left leg forward, fighting position. You are going to push down into your back leg. Front snap with your front leg, and then kick with your back leg. So it's 2 kicks. Front leg, back leg. 1, snap, snap. 2, snap, snap. 3, 4, 5, turn, again, same ones. 1, front leg, back. 2, you're getting way better. You keep your knee just a tiny bit higher on the recoil. 3, knee up, yep, knee up. That's way better. 4, 5, I know, God, then I started watching it. Turn, roundhouse kicks. We're going to do a single roundhouse kick with your back leg first. So one way to talk about the roundhouse kick is that in a front kick, your hip swings and your foot snaps up. In a roundhouse kick, that happens, but sideways. Your hip twists and your foot comes around and hits because your hip is throwing it sideways. So the sideways kick, we prefer when you learn especially that you still hit with the ball of your foot. So this is like this, but in the roundhouse kick, your foot is turned sideways and edged. And a little bit, that's more for activating your inner thighs than it is if I just put my foot out there, only these muscles are working. So edge your feet for a while on the side thrust to the edge of them. Just not so much, and that's pretty good. Here we go. If there was something here, a chair or a small child, you would pick your knee up and over it and spin your hip around. So kick this way. 1, up and around. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good except for this. Turn. 1. That's pretty darn good. 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn. We're going to work on your arms just a little bit, because I know this is a harder habit to break. When you kick right now, you're pulling your arms in this way. And I want you to learn to project forward with them in case you need them for blocking, hitting something. And this helped me a lot. This fist and elbow stays here and my body moves forward. This stays here in space when my body moves. Okay, so we're going to try that moving forward. You're just going to spin your hip and send it 1, then you can step forward. Now this elbow here stays. 3, forward more. 5. I'm going to stay here. 6. Shoulder down, lock it together. 7. Turn. 1. 2. to take your hip, which is basically facing this way, and as you move forward, you're going to turn it so it aims down to the ground. This is a little bit of an exaggeration, but it does put your leg here in the right place. Okay? This is training for roundhouse kicks and for sweeping. So they're very similar. You use your hip, you use your body. That's a sweep down low, roundhouse kick for high. It could also be a inner thigh kick going here. Here we go. Left arm forward. One. What did I do? Back. Two. Forward. Back. Three. Good, John Noel. Four. Back. 5. Just don't have it in. Make it useful. So if I was punching you right when you start to punch, I'd love to do, right? Ooh, you're going to start keeping hand like this. You're going to be able to block with it. 1, just because it's there. Oh, just heavy. Turn. Right up here, like a little bit. We're going to do that one more time. You're going to do 2 practice and 2 kicks. So this stays here, and you go 1, 2, this stays here, 3, kick, 4, kick. So you want to get rid of 4 in your case. Super common for people to do this. Less common for this, but usually it's people who learn with pads on. Hold them up. Left leg forward. 2 practices, 2 kicks. 1, turn it over. Cover. 2, turn it over. 3, kick. Put that in front just a touch more so it stays in your center forward. Now this is going to end up in your center. 4. Can you feel this at all when you do it? Right. I want you to squeeze and hold this pad. Not yet. 1. Yeah, I like that. 2. Squeeze it. Make it a kick. You're going to hold it. 3. 4. That's pretty good. You can pull like that a little bit. Turn. So, quite often with the front kicks, I talk about your arms and they will lay a little bit in when you kick, not out, in, or here. In. And that's present here. In. It's just part of the body system. Not the only way, but it's a way to learn. And if you eventually find something you prefer, then you can do that on purpose. Right now it's not on purpose, it's just that. Moving this way, round those kicks. 1. That's a real good. That's all right, I didn't tell you. 2. Better. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Turn it up. Alright, I think that's pretty darn good. Enough basics for today. That's only half of her basics. She has to do more. More kicks, more combinations, more stuff. Well, let's just see. You got to do the double roundhouse kick, front leg, back leg. You have to do the side kick, crossing behind. You have to do the back thrust kick with your spin. You have to front kick with your front leg, roundhouse kick with your back leg, counter punch. Yep. That's it. Yeah, 2 more when you go to the next one. made noise.
I'm here.
I know, we see you. Heian Shodan. Out. Kata.
Shodan.
Boy. That's good. One. A little lighter. Two. One. Two. Three. One. One. Two, three. One. Two. One. Two. One. One. Two, three. That's very soft. One. Two. One foot straight. Get her before you're healing. One. Two. Okay, so right now, move your front. When I say pull your heel in, you're a little bit like this. I'm over exaggerating. And that makes your butt up. And if you pull your heel in this way, that's better. Like just that little bit straightens you. Yep. There's. All right, one more irritation and then we'll move on. Out, Heian Shodan.
Shodan.
One.
Oh, okay, cool.
Bend for a knee. Bend. Towards it. Ew.
Well,
little bit
that's
slow.
not good, okay.
This way, the other way.
I know, okay.
One. One second. Ew. Hey. Table. You got it. One. Pretty good. One. Two. Three. Don't brace so much. You gotta bend your front knee. You gotta slip in your front stand. Twist your hip sideways. The other side. One. Bend. Ew. Good. So mostly just deciding that you can makes a big difference. And it takes a little bit of adjustment to get used to the idea. One. Two. One. One. Two. Three. One. Back. Ew. Straight, tall. Fix your foot. One. Ew. Pretty good though. Kind of freaky out. There's worse ones with shifting where they pull you super far or push you super far, but it makes you figure out how to stay balanced. One more Heian Shodan, we'll try Heian Yondan. Out. Heian Shodan.
Shodan.
Why are your heels not touching? What? Easy. Boy. One. Good. Two. Push stronger. One. Move it over a little bit. Strong here. You. Three. One. Move it over a little bit. Push your hips sideways. One. Two. Three. I know, weird, eh? One. Uh-oh. Two. One. Block. Two. One. Go back. Ready? Push front stance in front stance. One. One. Two, three. One. Two. One. Heel. That makes more sense though, right? Walk it. Yep. All right. So, back in my day, they did training like that, but with more intense attacks and more sooner, and we had a simple drill. In Heian Shodan, we're supposed to turn and do this before that guy can step and punch. And so it'd be one, two, you know, and it seemed a little pointless because you would never turn that far and nobody attacks would step and punch. But shortly after that, I was on the University of Minnesota campus in Town, I believe. And I was putting something away, and a door burst open behind me, and I went, whoop! I could feel that same turn. I didn't do anything. There was nothing to, these guys just running out the door. But it was the first time I felt the reflex. Whoop! Like, if I had to do something, I would have been on my way to do it. The instant attention to what was there. I have felt it a few times since then, but that was just like the most dramatic, where it was like, oh my God, where'd that come from? That came from karate, I can't believe that. So now, something could startle me, and I'll go, oh, and I'll just know it's there, but it's not a thing, so I'm okay. Or I'll be aware of a person moving or walking, that's good too. So, if I punch your head or try to stab you with a stick, it's not just because I enjoy it. It's because you're supposed to move faster and block it. And there's no other way to get people to do that except to put them under some stress or threat where they have to feel like they move faster. So different people, different instructors teach differently. And I have a series of things that are important to me that I'm sure I teach over and over again. And there's probably things I forget or miss because I do them right or you do them close enough and it doesn't come to my attention. And I was teaching at a seminar once, and the whole group was going 1, 2, and you can't leave your hand there. You have to go 1, boom, 2, boom. So I picked a little girl who was 10 or so, and I said, 1, she didn't block it. And I didn't hit her in the head, but I thought she'd figure it out because his hand's coming at her. And I did it 2 or 3 more times and said, don't let me hit you. And I went 1, and she started to go faster. But nobody had ever pushed her to do that before. And the instructor didn't realize her whole group was doing that. So he mentioned it too. So that was a big thing as I was coming up the ranks for just everybody to know. You can't, the 2 big things are, you can't wait and then block. You can't coil and then block. You have to start and stop. Go, go! You have to start and stop at the same time. Doesn't matter how far your foot goes, doesn't matter how far your arm goes. It's just a basic thing. It's a good basic thing. Teaches you to keep your body moving in sequence really well, really soon. All right, hand and up, out. So it's this one. Wait. One. Hey, go back. Try to match your hands and feet a little more. It's not really 1, 2. It's kind of 1. The initiation starts, and your foot might lead a little, but they end at the same time. Not 1, 2. 1. Much better. Straight ahead. You're crooked this way. Yep. Elbow higher. Ew. Very nice. Fingers together. Good job, John Noel, on both of those. 1. So I almost feel like your legs are not ready there. Go back to here. 1. Better. So that's not a huge change, but it is a direction, it's a change. Ew! Up in front of you. Fix that foot. 1, 2. Shoulders down. Down, 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 down. Just go down, 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 down. So we have to relax the top part and tighten the bottom. Better. 1, 2. Good. 1, 2. Yep, very, very good. 3, 4. Body, 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 body. Yes. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So remembering that will fix a lot of your stuff. You're all just a tiny, okay, straighter. Yep. All right. But overall, your stances are awesome. The direction is awesome. There's a lot of stuff that you do that I did not learn till way later. Good pressure down and down. Good pressure down. It's solid. You're very thin, so it's hard to see. It's hard to say, oh yeah, she did it. But if I touch it, you pull it together, and it's like, wow, that is really good. So I think with time, it'll become part of your movement. It'll be more easier for people to see, more obvious. But you'll build on it too. It makes you stronger, the technique itself, but also it builds strength. You get your legs get tired, your arms get tired. I mean, so it's kind of a development, a progression in karate that a beginner and a black belt can go to the same class and do Heian Shodan, and they'll pound it through, and the beginner's like, well, that was easy, and then the black belt's like, because you put more into each motion, more muscle mass, more, there's kind of a progression. So at first, you don't do anything. You're just happy stepping. And it's hard on your muscles because they're not strong enough and they're not used to holding you. And then you start to figure out what to do, and you're pulling together, grinding shot, pulling together, grinding shot, and you're trying so hard that it's really, really hard. So then you can start to do it and not try so hard, and it loosens up a little bit, and it starts to go, oh, That's easier. I get it now. I just have to move from place to place, and I can still be strong when I get there. And then somebody will point out something you're not doing. Well, your foot isn't driving all the way through it, so you have to start fixing it. Squeeze, fix, and it'll get harder again, and then it'll get easier, then get harder. It's just as you correct yourself, it's a progression. A little bit like stair steps, maybe. But what I have found, and I have described this to many people, is you can be white belt, orange belt, green belt, purple belt, black belt, and be on this path. Or you can be off on a tangent of now up, 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 up. So part of that progression is trying to figure out how to get back to the path of development, I think. And most of it is not complex, not hard, but hard to do. So the easiest thing you would think would be posture. Nice, straight, tall. Easy. Easy. But what do people do? They wobble everywhere they go. So although that's a simple concept, it takes a long time to actually start to embrace it. For some people it's more natural than others. Maybe dancers, somebody who's used to the straight spine thing. But some of those people don't progress because they think, oh, I can already do this. They don't understand that there's more to do, so they just copy. We are going to try Heian Godan one time, then we'll go. I don't know why we run out of time. All right, so maybe I know why we run out of time. Out, Heian Godan.
Heian Godan.
So it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Back step. 1, front step. 2, pull back a little bit. 3, 4. Yep, and this is going to make a fist. 5, 6. Then you come up like this. 1, 2. Then coil in your right leg. 3. Press your big elbow straight. 4, 5. Cross. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stab. No front stance. 1, 2. Back stance. And the fire. 3, 1, 2. You're doing awesome. All right? Fires. So I know that you don't remember that one yet, but do you have any questions about how to do stuff? We should work on this part just a little bit. So right here. And you're going to try to touch your wrists together. And then they fold out. I know. So it's here. Yep. And believe it or not, this was a fist. You hang on a second. You're stabbing me with it, not like that. All that is me grabbing like this. So there's a little bit of a twist here. Twist, grab. Twist, grab. So it's weird without an arm. Yep, up. Almost.
I got it.
Good. Let's see. Yep, that was perfect. Don't do it again. No, that's not a good step. All right. Any questions on anything we did today? Perfect. Look at that. All right. Bye. Say goodbye to John Noel. What the guy, right? Thank you all for training. Class dismissed. Bye, guys. You too, bye-bye, Jean-Noel.